The following video contains creepy organisms found crawling inside homes, backyards, and places no one expected to find them in. This video from 1988 was leaked just recently. It was recorded in the Nelson River DC line in Manitoba, Canada. A sudden failure at the nearby Whiteshell Nuclear Research Facility had forced the city into an emergency lockdown. The reactor's experimental cooling chamber, used for testing advanced biological waste treatments, triggered a dangerous chain reaction. This caused a microscopic parasite to mutate, resulting in this supermassive creature with a silver body and long tentacles wrapped tightly around the power plant's chimney. They had to call the military to contain the monster, but after that, no one knows what happened to it. Jungle Abomination. Some of the most terrifying forest creatures don't exist in stories, and a man from South Africa found terrifying proof of that. While exploring deep into the Congo Basin, he spotted an unnatural creature emerging from the sand. The creature was about the size of a grown jackal and had extremely long tentacles. It didn't move like any known insect or animal. Its limbs writhed in a disturbing way. Then it vanished into the sand, as if it was never there. And if the man hadn't recorded this video evidence, no one would have believed that the creature existed. Chernobyl Nightmare. After the Chernobyl incident in 1986, high levels of radiation caused severe mutations in the environment, and ever since the evacuation, the area has remained off-limits. But one day, a man snuck inside the Chernobyl exclusion zone, curious to see what was lurking inside. That's when he discovered this abomination. A slimy, veiny creature crawled across the ground. There were clusters of pale, pulsating orbs on its back that kept pulsating. This was truly a biological nightmare that was born from radiation. Sewer monster discovery. In 2018, after a heavy downpour in Houston, Texas, a local resident was getting out of his car when he noticed something near a storm drain. At first, it looked like a single, pulsating, slimy creature, but a closer look revealed it was actually a group of thousands of worms balled up together. The clip quickly went viral, and people started calling it the sewer monster. But experts later identified it as a colony of tubifex worms. These worms thrive in stagnant, polluted water, and their synchronized pulsing is triggered by one worm contracting, setting off the rest, giving the illusion of one giant pulsating organism. Creepy red worms. A woman was walking along a seashore in Japan when she spotted a cluster of strange, bright red worms. Their bodies were flat and slick, curling eerily in her hand. But what really made her skin crawl was the long, white strings shooting out from their mouths. Lucky for her, she was a marine biology researcher named Aiko Tanaka, studying unusual feeding mechanisms in different marine organisms. She had just found the perfect subject for her thesis, because these were ribbon worms, which were known for their unique feeding appendages used to catch prey. So, she filled a bucket and took them home with her. Wall creature. This might be one of the most confusing organisms ever caught on camera. At a construction site in Sao Paulo, Brazil, a worker noticed something strange on the wall. At first, he thought it was just a bad patch of cement or wall putty, but then it started moving. It was a gray, shapeless mass, almost like thick slime. Parts of it held together in clumps, shifting and reshaping constantly, like a mysterious living blob. The worker was so unsettled, he didn't dare touch it. He just called over his team to take a look at this, who was just as confused by it. Sink pipe horror. After discovering their kitchen sink was clogged, a family in Indonesia decided to check under it. And what they found was horrifying. When they removed the pipe, long, meaty strands started sliding out in heaps. At first, it looked like a fleshy mass until they saw it moving. But it wasn't one thing. It was thousands of worms clumped together, clinging inside the pipe. Grayish blobs peeked through, which looked like their heads. After seeing it, the family not only called pest control to get rid of them, but also hired a plumber to replace the entire kitchen drainage system. Pine squid discovery. While deep in the forest of the northeastern United States, a man named Nathaniel saw a creature many believed was just a hoax. It was the North American pine squid, which is a dark tree octopus. Its body was made up of thick, irregular tentacles that were writhing. Years ago, when stories about this creature first surfaced, experts dismissed it as fiction, and its videos kept disappearing from all platforms. But now that we have proof, the real question is, what was so scary about this creature that they didn't want us to see it? Worm invasion. This bizarre incident from a decade ago still feels surreal. It happened right after the heavy rains in May 2015, which had caused many to lose their homes. After the storm passed, staff at Texas's Eisenhower State Park spotted dozens of worm clumps lined up along the center of the road. As the footage went viral, people came up with all kinds of crazy theories, but the most sane explanation came from Texas Parks and Wildlife, who said the worms surfaced to migrate and clump together for safety and communication. Still, the explanation doesn't make this any less of a creepy sight. Beating heart. In 2023, a city in Greece was forced into lockdown when a massive, flesh-like object appeared in the middle of the street. It looked like a giant heart, pulsing and beating without a body, and no one knew where it came from. Police quickly sealed off the area, and no one was allowed near it. What makes the location of its appearance even more shocking is that in Greek mythology, the heart of Dionysus symbolizes resurrection. Strangely, it never made it to the news, and when the lockdown lifted, the heart had vanished completely, as if the government was trying to hide whatever it was. Unexplainable humanoid sighting. Among all the horrifying things caught on camera, nothing tops this one. This entity was recorded in El Paso, Texas, when a man named Rafael Torres was out walking his dog. It had a pale, fleshy body, a massive, deformed head, and even though its posture looked animal-like, its hands and features were eerily human. It had a small, pig-like tail, too. However, after seeing this video, some people on the internet guessed it might have been a silicone prop. But there's no additional info about the video to confirm or deny that. Leaked lab mutation. In 2017, strange rumors began circulating around a remote area near Novosibirsk, known as the science capital of Siberia, for its research facilities. The rumors were about a hidden lab conducting mysterious DNA experiments. No one actually took those rumors seriously until this video got leaked. It shows a living mass of tangled, dark, worm-like strands moving together as if they shared one body. It didn't match any known insect or sea life form, which is why authorities decided to investigate. But all they found was an abandoned facility, and it looked like someone had cleared out all evidence in a hurry. Bathroom horror. You'll start fearing your own bathroom after seeing this. In Malaysia, a woman found the most terrifying creature slithering out of her bathroom. She ran out and started filming from a safe distance. Although it moved like a snake and had the same length, it wasn't really a snake. It had no scales, and its head didn't look like a snake either. Just a dark, slimy creature that was slithering across the floor. She called pest control right away, and they took it away. But ever since that day, she hasn't walked into that bathroom without fear. Parasitic entity. In Queensland, Australia, a man was watering his plants when he spotted something deeply disturbing on his patio. At first, it looked like a decaying snail. But then, a dark worm-like parasite started tearing its way out of the snail's body. The way it moved, it looked like it had been living inside and was finally breaking free. It's not clear if it was done feeding or if it had been using the snail as a host all along. What are your thoughts? Scorpio spider. Nature really got experimental with this one. The video shows a hybrid-looking creature inside a home. It was recorded by a family in Australia who found it on their kitchen floor. The creature had long, spindly legs like a spider, but attached at the end was a curved, scorpion-like tail. The family eventually managed to lead it out of their home, but after seeing this strange hybrid, people on the internet are now shaking with fear, worried they might find it in their homes too. Bizarre shore discovery. In 2001, a group of Japanese fishermen stumbled upon the most bizarre organisms while preparing to fish near the shore. There, lying just at the edge of the water, was a large, fleshy creature. Its body was soft and bulbous, with strange ruffled edges. The creature's color was a light pink with a reddish stain on one side. Confused and curious, the fishermen poked at it with a stick, but then it suddenly squirted a thick white liquid in their direction, which had to be some kind of a defense response. They figured it had to be from the ocean, because honestly, we don't even know the type of monstrosities the ocean is hiding. Huntsman cluster.
You know what? I'm really not scared of spiders. But when you see all those bloody huntsmen there...
On October 31st, 2023, an Australian farmer, Liam Harris, was moving some bee equipment on his farm in Manildra, New South Wales. That's when he came across a sight that made his skin crawl. Just a few steps away on a rock was a massive cluster of huntsman spiders, known as Delana cancerites. But what really sent shivers down his spine was their behavior, because instead of spreading out, they were coiled on top of each other.
When you see all those bloody huntsmen there, you get a bit of a fright.
Even for a social species, this kind of formation made no sense, and even something weirds out an Australian, you know it's truly bizarre. Extinction nightmare. What would you do if you came across a centipede twice your size? A giant creature that was believed to have gone extinct millions of years ago. Till now, it was only mentioned in textbooks, until this footage surfaced. It was allegedly captured in the desert of Saudi Arabia, and was at least 8 feet long. Just look at all those hundreds of legs. As the video went viral, people started saying the terrifying creature had never truly gone extinct. But since the video has no clear source, that can't really be confirmed. Mystery larva. While driving through St. Lucia Island in the Caribbean Sea, a man spotted something truly bizarre by the roadside. It had a shapeless, fleshy body that resembled an enormous larva of a giant creature. Its rubbery, wrinkled surface had a pale, almost decaying beige tone. He had no idea what it was, so he uploaded the video online. Asking people to help in identifying this enigmatic anomaly, and some people had the wildest theories. They said it could be alien larvae or remains of a mysterious creature. After all, the Caribbean has more legends than it has trees, so the theories just kept getting wilder. Monster nightmare. A man in China got terrified when he woke up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom. High up on the wall, he spotted what looked like a spider at first, but as he stepped closer, he realized this was something far worse. Its body was bulky, and it had not 8, but dozens of legs. and it was pulsating. When he shared the video online, people accused him of faking it with animatronics, but they finally believed him when others started posting similar videos. But despite the creature showing up in different homes, no one was able to explain what it really was. Crab entity. The dark and grainy video isn't very clear, but it still reveals something no one was supposed to see. It was allegedly recorded in 2024 in China. A dog was clearly agitated and barking fiercely at a bizarre creature. The creature's shape resembled a crab, but it was way too big to be one. Because it was at least 3 times the size of the dog. The creature tried to escape, running frantically, but the dog didn't back down, as if it knew that the thing did not belong there. Spider surprise.
It didn't freeze out. I was taking out last.
Australia is not for beginners, and this family in Brisbane learned that the hard way. They were shocked when they looked up and saw a massive spider clinging to their wall. It was so big, it looked almost unreal. But this wasn't just any spider. It was a Goliath bird eater, which meant that one of the largest spider species in the world had somehow ended up inside their home. They immediately called the Brisbane Wildlife Pest Control Company, who admitted it was one of the biggest and most terrifying creatures they'd ever removed. Demonic creature. 5 years ago, a man named Joe was traveling through the Hoia Baciu forest in Romania when he had the most terrifying encounter of his life. As he paused near a crooked tree, long, bony hands suddenly wrapped tightly around the trunk. Each finger was sharp, almost claw-like, and then a terrifying face slowly peeked out from behind, staring directly at him. Joe had explored forests for years and seen some truly bizarre things, but nothing as disturbing as this. Shaken, he turned around immediately and vowed never to set foot in that forest again. Buried unknown creature. While surveying an overgrown patch of land for possible cultivation, a group of farmers in rural Thailand felt an odd movement beneath their feet. At first, they thought it was just loose soil, but the sensation was too strange. So, out of curiosity, they began digging. What they unearthed left them stunned. Beneath the layers of earth was something large and pale, a smooth, rounded surface that looked like the head or shell of some unknown creature. However, the video capturing it cuts off abruptly, so we don't get a closer look at what they had actually found. Strange insectoid. This strange insectoid was found inside a plastic tub in a garden, and people had no idea what to make of it. Its massive shell-like body looked eerily like a skull that is most likely used to fend off predators or any other threats. Its wiry, skinny legs seemed too small to carry its bulky body, and 2 thin antennas curled around it in the most bizarre way. The creature looked more like a warning to anything that came too close. Alien hatchlings. In 2021, a lone fisherman was exploring the storm-battered coastline of Galicia, Spain, when something under an old bench caught his eye. He found a grotesque cluster of mysterious organisms. They had long, purplish-brown bodies attached to huge, bulbous heads, and from each head, pale, creepy tentacles came out like they were mouths of these organisms. The underside of the bench was crawling with smaller versions, like hatchlings. He first thought they were gooseneck barnacles because of the way they were clustered, but these had no shells. Their entire bodies looked fleshy and terrifyingly unnatural. Being the curious explorer he was, he captured detailed videos and took samples to share with the world what he had discovered. Backyard horror.
What the f*** is that thing? It's a f*** bat! It's got the...
Can you identify this bizarre creature? Last year, a man from Wagga Wagga, South Wales, found this terrifying creature lurking in his backyard. It moved with stiff, jerking motions and let out high-pitched shrieks. This couldn't have been a bird because it had strange, enormous membranes of skin stretched from the neck to its claws. The creature kept flapping in a strange manner as it tried to crawl and leap toward him, leaving him screaming in pure terror. Real-life symbiote. A woman's trip to Las Vegas took a shocking turn when she spotted a dark, slimy organism on the ground. At first, she thought it was just a black slime mold, but the way it was bubbling and constantly shifting form proved otherwise. People gathered around it and came up with all sorts of guesses, confused if it was a sea creature, fungus, or something else entirely, but no one had a certain answer. Strange worms. In a forest in China, a man spotted a tree that was covered in worms, but what happened next was beyond bizarre. As he spoke, the worms all moved in perfect unison, reacting to every sound he made, almost like they were synced to his voice. It looked unreal, but there's a reason why they were doing it. Silkworms respond to different vibrations as a natural defense, mistaking it for an approaching predator, and that's exactly what was going on here. Ghost moth.
She's doing the spins. Hi. Hi there.
One glance at this creature will make your skin crawl. Although most of its body looked like it belonged to a regular moth, the back of its head was something else entirely. It looked like a ghostly face was imprinted on it, with visible eyes, a nose, and a mouth gaping open, frozen in what looked like a silent scream.
Hi there. Oh my goodness.
The most chilling part is that it was found right on the wall of St. Bartholomew's Church in England, a place already known for its dark and unsettling history. Could this be a coincidence? Unexpected discovery.
Aí sim, hein?
While clearing an overgrown patch of land, a group of farmers noticed the soil shifting in a strange way. At first, they thought it might be a log, but then one of them spotted what looked like a thick tail. That's when he grabbed it and started pulling it. What happened next felt like a tug of war between the farmer and the creature, until he managed to pull it out completely. To their shock, it was a massive armadillo, its brown body perfectly camouflaged in the soil. None of them had expected to dig up something like that. Slimy backyard visitor. A man in Florida stepped out late at night when he spotted something coiled up on his porch. It was a slimy, dark green creature, covered in countless tiny, wriggling legs. It looked like the creature was secreting the slime from its body, and the thick slime gave off a stench so foul it made him gag. He called pest control immediately, and they said it was the stinkiest, most repulsive centipede-like creature they'd ever seen. Camp hybrid. A girl was camping with her family near the Sonoran Desert in Arizona when she woke up to something horrifying right beside her pillow. It looked like a living hybrid horror, a creature with the most terrifying features of both a spider and a scorpion. Thick, hairy legs, a dark body, and pincers that made it look like it had crawled straight out of a nightmare. The girl calmly picked it up with her bare hands, examined it, and released it back into the desert. Venomous larva. No one should ever touch this fuzzy creature. In Japan, a man spotted the strange creature in Shinjuku Gyoen National Garden and had no idea how dangerous it really was. It looked like a soft, orange-brown, slimy ball of fluff, almost harmless at first glance. But thankfully, he didn't touch it, because it was the larva of a puss caterpillar. And beneath those innocent-looking hairs are venomous spines that are extremely dangerous. So, if you ever see one too, the best thing to do is walk away. Backyard discovery.
tried to convince my dad to keep it in a plastic bag.
In 2022, 9-year-old Barnaby Domigan was playing in the backyard of his home in Christchurch, New Zealand, when he uncovered something that looked almost unreal. It was a massive worm, nearly a meter long. Its cold and squishy body stretched longer than his arm. His mother called it the stuff of nightmares, but Barnaby was not scared by his discovery. The story made it to CNN, and experts were more curious than thrilled. They admitted they had never seen such a massive worm before, and an examination would be needed to confirm what species it was. Buried soil creature. These workers were preparing the ground for a construction project when the digging revealed what had been hiding under that soil all along. A thick, strange-looking creature emerged from deep within the ground. It wasn't a worm, because its body was far too thick, and it didn't look anything like a mole either. Since construction was set to begin the next day, they decided to lift it gently with the excavator. They were as curious as they were unsettled, because this thing didn't match anything they'd ever seen before. Sasa Cave's discovery. A man named Pham Lai found a truly indescribable thing. As he dug into the damp ground, he uncovered a cluster of pale, soft, fleshy material deep within the narrow crevice. It looked organic, almost like it had once been alive. It resembled